Hello everybody and welcome to the second game of the day from the D2CL Chinese pre-qualifiers. We have TongFu going up against CDEC. Now, we're a little bit ahead of schedule. The game has started about 15 minutes early, so we'll head straight into the draft, find out what's going on, but we will have to remake after the draft is finished. Light of Heaven needs to join the new lobby and get casting with his with the Storm Studio, so we'll have to remake after that. That's how quickly we started. So head over to the draft. Welcome on my co-commentator Scant again. How are you doing?
Yeah, the match started super early and the draft's going really fast, and it makes me wonder. It's like 6:30 or so in the evening in China. Maybe like everyone wants to get done fast and go out. Is there like an event tonight?
Let's go and get dinner, guys. Let's get this done with. I don't know, but like we were in the lobby. The teams were there half an hour early. And we were all there, just like, okay, well, like, imagine if you had come back 5 minutes late.
Yeah, which could have very easily happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I take a little bit longer to mark a test, and I wouldn't have been here.
Oh well, but yeah, right. Jokes aside, heading into this draft now. Chen, Batrider, the Queen of Pain, Sniper Band out there by TongFu, while Troll, Warlord, Wisp, Brewmaster, and Zeus are the bands from CDEC. TongFu picking up Axe and Storm Spirit, so they've got some long-range initiation there with and Lockdown as well with Berserker's Call and Vortex. CDEC going for the counter-initiation route. Clockwork, Hookshot, Venge, Swap, and Silencer. Global Silence. TongFu picking up the Broodmother. Man, oh man. What? Like, CDEC doesn't have anything to deal with it right now. Do they go for a core that can 1v1? Like, you know, we've seen Centaur, we've seen Bristleback. They can't get the Axe themselves.
Well, the two options you have dealing with the Broodmother are to have a combo that can kill it repeatedly with Dust or Sentries, and to have a core that could solo against it. So, because Silencer is already picked, I don't know if that's one of their supports or core, but it's not going to help to make those kills. So if they're going to try and do the killing route, they need something that's very good at killing. I mean, Clockwork later on can do that, but not in the lane stage. So more likely, I think they'll try and take a core that lanes up against it. With the Axe already taken, what does that mean? Bristleback maybe, or Darkseer? Tide?
Well, we saw Koikva the other night, I think it may have been last night, that had a Shadow Fiend up against a Brood. And with the Razors, you know, if you target them well, you can clear out the Spiderlings and not really get harassed too much. He broke some kind of record with number of last hits at 10 minutes. That obviously was buffed up by the Spiderlings he was getting. But it is a hero that can deal with Brood if you've got supports there.
Well, maybe that's the plan then. The Shadow Fiend picked right up against the Brood. Have you watched CDEC? Have CDEC played since maybe left?
I'm not sure. I've not seen too much of them.
So
I'm not sure
we
they
might
have.
be seeing something totally new.
Yeah, when you do try and fit a new player in, you know, you fiddle around with roles, you try and bring in these new impact heroes that the replacement brings. Because obviously every player has their own hero pool. They not just that they play heroes well, obviously that's a factor, but they enjoy playing different heroes. So we might see something a little more unusual here from CDEC. Clockwork, Venge, Sansa, SF. I'm feeling Sansa support here. I don't know. Can you see him playing a core role up against Axe, Brood, Storm?
Well, they picked it right after the Storm. Well, not right after, but you know, it was the next pick in the draft after the Storm, and made me think. Silence ulti's good against Storm, obviously, but is it better if it's a support or a core? I sort of think it's better if it's a support, because every time you're not Silencer ulting, the Storm can actually be going on you.
Yeah. And then that sort of forces you to buy BKB, which in turn isn't really that good against Axe, who's going to be blinking on you. So there's multiple routes of initiation for TongFu, if that is, of course, Silencer. But CDEC will be picking up their last hero here, as Drow Ranger and Witch Doctor are the bands out from TongFu and CDEC. Fifth pick. What are we going to go for? Well, we can look at TongFu for a while now. Axe, Storm, Brood, and Dazzle. So they've got the Teamfire Sustain with the Dazzle, healing up the Axe and maybe graving up the Storm. Broodmother will be that annoying force over on the offlane, just pushing into Tier 1, Tier 2 towers, forcing CDEC to react. Like you said, that one of the ways to deal with him is just spam Dust and Sentries, try and kill him over and over again. But 15 minutes in, once you start leaving lanes and look to push into towers, CDEC can't really go for the Death Ball route. They have to split their forces across the map.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. I'm busy looking at the the portraits, like the Steam portraits. Have you noticed that on CDEC that Garda and Aggressive have like the same little thing but looking opposite directions?
What
I
is
don't know
that?
if that's
It's
like
a little,
some kind of bromance.
a little yellow dinosaur thing. I don't know what it is, but they do go for the bristle. So more likely than not, it will be Bristle in the one roll up against the Broodmother. Then you've got Sansa stacking and pulling a Vengeful Spirit, maybe roaming around the map a little bit. TongFu.
Yeah, Silence is also pretty good against Dazzle. So not just the Storm Spirits. I think a big global silence in this game could absolutely dictate the course of a fight.
Yeah, definitely. TongFu, you're looking for a secondary support here, really? I don't feel that Axe is going to go jungle and they look for another, like an actual one-roll hero. But now I'm starting to query where this Broodmother goes. Because, you know, Axe is usually in the offlane. We have seen him played one role a few times. Is this something that TongFu have done before? They're going to do now? Storm mid, Brood offlane, Axe one role, and then you have, what, a greedy jungler? Something like an Enigma? But against Hookshot and Global Silence, swap. Yeah, Enigma's not really an option.
Yeah, I mean, Skywrath Mage, okay, well, he's going to be useful. He could probably actually help out harassing mid at the start to give Storm a really big advantage in that lane. And Skywrath Mage is going to combine very well with Axe as well, as we've seen many times, the call into Skywrath ulti, blasting down pretty much any hero.
Well, here we are, guys. Game 1 in this best of 3 between CDEC and TongFu in the CDEC in the D2CL Chinese pre-qualifiers. Oh my god, I'm just losing all my words all of a sudden.
Oh, we
have to
gonna
remake.
have a remake.
We have to remake. I'm gonna go and check Skype quickly just to make sure. I don't want to say anything. Like, is Maelstrom still in the lobby? Maelstrom?
I need to restart Steam in the meantime because I'm getting uncompressed updates now.
Oh no. Well, we're gonna see CDEC just go and place that aggressive laning ward so they know what they're dealing with. It's gonna be Dazzle supporting the Broodmother for now, but Dazzle most likely just on that warding mission. Waiting to see where the enemies are gonna end up. One web goes down, Garda is here with the sentry ward ready to fend off that attack though.
So, no remake then, or?
I've asked in Skype. I'm not sure.
Well, how's your Russian?
Non-existent. Chinese also, like my Chinese is limited to hello, I don't know, and I love you, and maybe some food. I have no knowledge of like conversational Chinese whatsoever. The best I can do.
Which of those lines are you using most often in Chinese? Hello, I love you, or I don't know.
I don't know. Obviously, someone someone asks you something in Chinese. I don't know. 我不知道. No remake apparently. Okay, well we're just gonna continue like this. Shadow Fiend mid lane against a tri-lane mid right now. Well, dual lane with the Skywrath. For some reason I thought Sansa was on his team. No, it's 2 versus 2. Sansa just goes in there on the Skywrath Mage, is forced to harass back with the Arcane Bolt, but the Skywrath taking more harass than the Sansa was taking. Bot lane, it is actually Dazzle and Brood. So this aggressive dual lane against the Bristleback.
Oh man, that's so cool. The Brood getting the Spiderlings and Dazzle, being able to heal them all up when they sneak up on someone.
This is something that we've seen before from like European tier 2 teams. Oh my god, they're coming in from the back, but he's going to get harassed down. The Arcane Bolt and Remnant with Overload. Just forcing him away from that aggressive play. But yeah, I think it was about a year ago. Some tier 2 teams from CIS or Europe, they were trying Shadow Demon Dazzle, and we had that combination down. You know, the heal bomb with the illusions. And then they added Brood into the mix. You just completely insta-kill any support. Disrupt them, have the Spiderlings run around, you concave in and make sure there's no escape, and then they die.
That's super scary. I feel like I used to see that combo run Dazzle Shadow Demon with like a Centaur or Slaughter or something, which just stomps them as they come out. But yeah, with the Spiderlings, you don't even need the disable.
Yeah, we used to see it with Mirana, Slaughter, all sorts of things that were picked up there to combine up with that disruption. But how does this leave the other lanes? Then we've got Axe up on top, solo against the 2 heroes here. Q on the Sansa, and then XZ playing the Clockwork. It's an interesting lane. Like, Axe does not do well against Silencer. He's going to have no mana for Call, and you can already see he's using that relatively liberally. Just throwing out the Call, knowing that he's not going to get a chance to use it otherwise.
Yeah, so a pretty rare situation, I feel like, where, I mean, these are not conventional dual lanes. It's just both teams giving a support to their offlaner. I mean, it usually both Clock and Brood are offlaners that go alone.
Yeah, this does leave the mid lane a little bit susceptible, but TongFu doing a good job here. Evening it out with the Shadow Fiend in terms of CS. Shiki. Actually going to be 14 for 4 up against 14 for 1, so it's just a couple of denies in it, really. Well, they're both bottle ferrying, bot lane, looking pretty decent, but up at top, this is where I'm really looking for, you know, the kill potential. Because Skarth doesn't have boots and can get closed in on by the Clockwork and the Silencer, he could die. He could die potentially very quickly. Oh, Venge.
Yeah, I've been watching Garda sort of running around, and he tried to stack the close camp for Storm Spirit, struggled to because it's those range creeps again. It's really hard actually to stack there, and
oh, Bristle? Bristle dies. He gets killed by the creeps there, I think, in the end, but it was the heal with the Spiderlings along with the nuke from Broodmother. Just
in the
way
top
too
lane,
much.
they're gonna be return kills.
Definitely. Axe taking quite a bit of damage there from the last word, as Silencer gets turned around on. They want to try and get something in return. Axe is just going man mode here, but not getting too lucky with the spins.
That was really funny to watch. Axe just chasing after them, and like everyone's like looking at him, but no one wants to attack him because he's an Axe.
Yeah, it was really well played. I say he didn't get lucky with the spins, but obviously playing into that factor, CDEC didn't give him the chance to get the spins. They weren't attacking him.
Yeah, I want to say that there's an advantage for TongFu in this lane stage, and that the Vengeful Spirit doesn't really have a purpose. You know, she can try and roam around and make kills, she can try and make stacks, but she's not going to be able to do anything by being bottom, I think. I don't think that's a dual lane which does any much better than just the Bristleback being alone. And so in that sense, her role's less directly defined, and she has to find ways to be useful.
Yeah, she's just going to get obliterated on this bot lane. Because right now, with the Broodmother creep skipping, the Dazzle is in a position where he's not afraid of the Bristleback. With level 2 Shadow Wave, he can just turn around and hit him. He knows the Broodmother is going to be there ready to save his back. Shiki on the mid lane now taking a slight CS advantage with the level 3 raises, which, you know, it's expected. He's also Radiant side, so access to the jungle.
Ooh, Scarlet's bot now as well. They're going to dive this Bristleback.
Yeah, looks like the Concussor shot to start things off. Arcane bot as well. I don't know who's going to die first. Looks like the Storm actually dies first at mid. While Bristleback is tanking through quite a lot of this damage. Quill Sprays are stacking up onto King J as well. King J, sure you want to go back in here? It's getting a little bit hairy.
Yeah, he probably would have died to one more Quill Spray.
Garda, though, didn't make a nice smoke rotation into the mid lane, taking down the Storm Spirit with those razors from Shiki. So he's making things work.
Yeah, which is very important, as I was saying, because otherwise the Vengeful Spirit has nothing to do on the map. He needs to be able to find things to get done, because they're suffering really heavily in that safe lane. And if there were two heroes suffering, if Bristleback and Venge are both getting nothing done, I feel like that would be quite crippling.
It would also be pumping so much gold into this Broodmother. Like, early on, she is definitely quite reliant on snowballing. You know, you get the Soul Ring, then you get the Midas. You just keep building up the item progression. What comes next, though, is going to be the interesting one. I've seen Orchid played occasionally, a small percentage of games on Brood. You can get that fast Orchid and make kills happen, but most of the time it's all about taking control of the enemy jungle. Forcing heroes to react to you.
Also, I think he's going to buy Midas. If you just look at his gold,
yeah,
he's so close.
It feels like the natural thing to... I can't remember who did this originally. Whoa, where did that kill happen?
Oh, that's what you were saying, right? Yep. Looks like Axe goes down, and yeah, Brood does pick up his Midas. That's what we're discussing. What's he gonna get after the Midas?
Yeah, it's always a difficult choice. Who actually started off this Midas on Brood? Because this, I remember it happening at like TI2, and it was a Chinese player that did it. It might have been Mushi, but I can't remember who it was. Where it was always Brood goes Orchid, 100% of the time. Brood Orchid, every single game. This was back when Brood was popular the first time around. And then one Chinese player bought Midas on Brood and just crushed the game. Like, he was a good 5,000 or 6,000 net worth ahead of his opponents. 15,
I know that
minutes in.
During TI2, IG picked quite a lot of Brood, but I can't actually remember what... Was it YYF or was?
I can't remember. But
They definitely
IG sounds familiar.
I mean, they had Brood in one of the games in the grand final. I definitely remember that even. So, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure which player it would have been.
Hopefully Twitch chat can, you know, give us a little reminder. But meanwhile, Axe is taking a pretty nice large camp stack over here. He's 1200 gold away from his Blink Dagger, so 7.5 minutes in, he's not looking too bad. 60 last hits up on the Shadow Fiend, and they're moving in. SF and Vengeful Spirit. Rocket Flare, did that scout out Axe? I don't think it is, but they're going to fight him regardless. That was super simple.
Yep, so things are going well for CDEC in every regard except for the Broodmother, which they haven't yet shown what their plan is for dealing with it. I suppose now that Bristleback's got maxed out Cool Spray, it just takes, what, 2 or 3 Cool Sprays to wipe Spiderlings, and so the Broodmother needs to find more creative uses for them.
Look at this play from the Broodmother, though. He's farming jungle with Spiderlings, he's pushing mid with Spiderlings, he's pushing bot with his hero. This is some impressive play.
Yeah, Zex Bingo doing a good job in this game, and there's going to be a rotation to mid lane from the Radiant to try to defend. I don't know if this is a good idea.
Yeah, Q's gonna get zipped on here. Ball Lightning, Global Sans is thrown out, but nothing doing. Shiki will come in with a couple of raises, but again, Storm Spirit has mana to spend. He's actually gonna zip forward on the guard to find a kill there. The Spiderlings swarming around everyone, but now the Storm doesn't have mana. He can zip up onto the high ground here, but the right click and Cool Spray finish him off, and now Spiderlings, they're free for the taking. Shadow Fiend gonna clear a couple of them up.
Very ballsy move by UU9 because he could have zipped away, decided to go back in for the Venge, and pretty much secured his own death as a result. And I don't know if he'd like to kill a Venge and die in return. I don't know if that's the exchange he's looking for.
I think the fear was, if he does zip over here, there's the Shadow Fiend closing in on you, and you know, if he lands the medium and large raise, you're dead anyway. Or if there's an extra slow or a stun or anything, you're probably gonna die. So he's weighing in the factor that there's a good chance he's gonna die if he tries to take the escape route. There's a like almost 100% chance he's gonna die if he goes the aggressive route. But there still was that chance for him to survive and zip back up past the large camp onto the high ground. So I think it was the right decision. It just didn't work out for him.
Look how farmed this Bristleback is. I mean, he got the kill on the Storm there, but just his creep score even. I mean, he's been controlled by the Broodmother all game. He even died, but he's managed to get the last hits.
What's his net worth, though? His net worth is 3.5k, so he's pretty much on par with the Axe. And you've got to think that the majority of these creep kills are on Spiderlings. At least half, surely. Hookshot gonna miss a mid. Storm not getting caught out there. And Axe has his Blink Dagger, so now they've got the makings of their long-range initiation.
And Sky's also got level 6. As soon as he heals up, he's going to be going for kills with Axe.
They're going to see the dazzle, but they're not going to go for him. If they had Hookshot here, you know, they could pretty much go for any kill. But as it stands, Bristleback has to stay on bot lane, just fending off this Broodmother, and he'll do well 1v1. Now he has the Vanguard as well. There's very little Zex Bingo can do to control him, and the Spiderlings can't stay down here pushing. Mid lane, the tier 1 goes down, but in comes the Axe. Call onto Shiki, Mystic Flare, and Vortex thrown out. But the Global Silence has popped, just slowing down the advance from TongFu. Storm still looking for more, zipping forward, going to find a kill on Clockworks, a 2-for-1 exchange. Not going to find anything more, I don't think. The Spiderlings swarming in once again.
Yeah, they couldn't go further because when Silencer Global, he also cursed the Storm, and the Storm lost a whole lot of mana during the Global Silence. Otherwise, he could have rolled a lot further, gone for maybe an extra kill.
But once again, I've got to command this Broodmother on the Spiderling control. He saw that fight coming, sends the Spiderlings towards mid, and tries to get that, you know, blockade to slow down the retreat from the Silencer and Vengeful Spirit.
Oh, did you see what he just bought?
Oh.
Broodmother? Yeah.
That's not what I was expecting. I've seen it before, I've seen Dagon E-Blade on Brood. Just not this early on. You know, Necrobook is probably one of the most common items after the Midas, I want to say.
It seems like, I mean, intuitively I want to say it's not great to get against Bristleback, but at the same time, if you get enough burst damage before he's like super tanky, I mean he's got his Vanguard, but it's only a Vanguard at this stage. maybe that is one way to actually kill him, especially if you've got the Axe Skywrath combo, which is right now actually as I speak rotating towards the Bristleback, looking for exactly that kill.
Yeah, and it also forces the Bristleback to turn into you. If Axe blinks correctly, and obviously that's what he's looking for, to try and blink between Bristle and his teammates so that the Bristle turns towards and faces them. And then you just spam in the magic nuke damage. Because don't forget, spawn spiderlings. That's a pretty big burst damage as well. It's what, 325? 300 plus the Dagon. He gets the call, but it's behind the Bristle. And now this puts them in a situation where it's a little bit rough to actually launch all that damage in. They've thrown Dagon and spawn spiderlings, but now Shadow Fiend enters the battle. 5 people here from CDEC. Fending off the advance, and Axe dies, but there's no return kills this time.
I wish I knew what tipped them off, because the Clockwork and the Venge were there almost as early as the Skywrath and the Axe, so they absolutely read that play from the start of it. They just expected Axe and Skywrath to be coming down there, or at least someone to be coming down there for their Bristleback, and now they're going to turn it into their own push of the tier 1. Which, by the way, this is very important against the Broodmother. If you kill the tier 1, then when Broodmother's pushing very deep into the lane, you can kind of assume she's alone, and TP support can't come in. Which means if you mount a gang that can kill her with, say, Vengeful Spirit, Clockwork, maybe Silencer with the little dust, nothing's gonna actually save her. And that's one way that people do sometimes shut down Broodmother in the mid game. If she's isolated and no one can get to her, just bring the dusk and lock her down.
Yeah, unless there's an Axe and Scar smoked up in the jungle ready and waiting for you. Then there's very little that they can do to back her up, you're right. Broodmother, though, has taken full control of the Radiant jungle. Just trying to chokehold the economy as much as possible, but the response here from CDEC is to go and take towers.
Yeah, usually the strength of Broodmother, even if there's heroes that work to counter it, that clear the creeps really well, is that you have to constantly be thinking about it. You always have to have, I mean, even if you have a hero that does something against her, that hero needs to be doing that thing against her all the time, and you leave her alone, she gets so much done elsewhere on the map. But I think that in this particular case, CDEC are going to get 2 towers without Broodmother having got any towers or any objectives, and that's really good from them. It's very difficult to do this, to push for this amount of time against a Brood and not pay for it somewhere else in the map.
Yeah. And you can see the Clockwork just posturing himself ready and waiting. If the Brood showed herself there, he hookshots in, dusts up, and then you have the full reaction TP from TongFu. But as it stands, they're moving through the jungle. They might just catch her out. They're pinging, they know roughly where she is. But she is really defensive here, hiding in the trees. Oh no, Spiderling's gonna get cleared up by Shiki there. Shadow Fiend, bunch of gold.
So, Storm Spirits, again, like in the previous series, rushing that Bloodstone, preferring it over the Orchid.
Yeah, allows him to tank up that a little bit more, but also the fact that, there's that big potential for instant burst kills. They can kill almost anyone, outside of the Bristleback, I think, in one Berserker's Call, Mystic Flare, and Storm zipping on top. They've got that magic burst. It's just the teamfight sustain. If Dazzle's not there and ready to react, like right now he's at bot lane. He's going to be helping Broodmother push. There just doesn't seem to be that level of reaction to what CDEC are doing. TongFu feel like they're out farming CDEC here.
It's all the global silence. I think it's all the global silence. CDEC are getting towers because they have global silence, and TongFu are a bit nervous to engage on them because what about the global? I mean, they're pretty happy to farm the rest of the map, but at the same time they haven't got any towers. The last 3 towers that CDEC killed, TongFu didn't get any towers in return for them.
Is Shiki... Okay, I thought that he was going to go straight butterfly or something odd like that. He's got 3.7k gold in the bank. BKB, I guess, once he's got 3.9. I'm not too sure.
Could just be a BKB, because that's looking like BKB gold. He needs yeah, he's got BKB gold now if he wants. Yeah, it's BKB.
I thought so. Silencer now. Oh, who's that blade mail for? Clockwork? Nice. Treads, bottle blade mail 16 minutes in. So all this tower, global gold. He hasn't really been there for, actually helping out with the towers, killing them at all. He's just been running around trying to stop Brood from pushing into his own.
Broodmother is sending 2 Dagon recipes in the career.
Yeah.
So it's going to be level 3 now. I mean, this gives him burst potential, but it does also opening it up to the Clockwork. Clockwork ran around with dust. He's got nothing to tank up the Broodmother. So 1000 HP, if he does get caught, he could probably just get soloed by Clock.
But we've seen this before, like time and time again. The death ball happens when Shadow Fiend gets mech, and you've got these long-range initiators, a tanky hero in Bristleback, and then they are basically a team full of counter initiators. Clockwork, Silencer, Vengeful Spirit. If TongFu jump in, CDEC have an answer to anything that they throw at them. So I'm just wondering, TongFu have to like use smoke really efficiently, or they have to massively out-farm CDEC here to drag themselves back into this game.
I mean, TongFu just seem to have made a very clear and explicit decision that they're not going to try and take a team fight. And CDEC just know that. And so they're just like taking objective after objective after objective, and they're like, well, clearly you guys are afraid to fight us while we have global silence. Maybe it's not just the global silence, maybe it's other items and other heroes too, but I wonder, do TongFu go for a kill here?
Well, CDEC were trying a bot lane. They do go for the kill up on top. Bristleback getting nuked down, but look, they cannot kill him in that combo. It's close, but it's not close enough. Culling Blade, cancelled out by the Venge swap, but still the damage comes out from the Storm Spirit. Now though, the retreat, this is the hard part. Is there a hook shot? Is there anything to follow up? Looks like XZ TP's in with very low HP as the Broodmother had zapped him down. But I was just looking down at bot. The Venge and Clockwork were looking for the Brood, but Venge was stood in front of the clock. He couldn't get the hook shot, couldn't get the dust. Storm? They're gonna jump in, Culling Blade? Nope, Berserker's cool. They'll find the kill on the Clockwork. They're not gonna let the Storm get out of this one though.
Yeah. Up until the point that the Storm died, this was a really perfect series of events for TongFu. Getting the Silencer to global and not sustaining any deaths as a result, in fact getting the kill on the Bristleback. But yeah, Storm may be going a bit too far in the end. I don't know, it felt like they could get that kill and still get out. But maybe the Storm had to turn back sooner and let the Axe finish the kill.
Yeah. He does have Bloodstone completed now though. Axe, how are we looking for him? Almost 4 staff on top of the blink, so he's going full mobility. No BKB, no Blade Mail, no Aghanim's. So those will most likely come later. This Broodmother though continues to go unchecked. Dagon level 3. Next recipe.
When is she gonna use it? I mean, have you seen her using it yet? Like, is it gonna be level 5 before she uses it?
I've seen it go on cooldown. I've not actually seen it being used. They used it on Clockwork. I think they've thrown it out on some other heroes, but
it hasn't made a kill, has it?
No.
I don't think it's made a kill.
Not yet. But when you look at this Vengeful Spirit, what's her HP? 1000. She's gone for drums. With the Wave of Terror and Quill Spray, they'll clear up a few of these spiderlings.
Yeah, so we haven't seen the Clock take out the Brood yet, but we haven't seen the Brood take out anyone yet since he started building up Dagon, so very standoffish the game in general, and Silence's global silence now up again, and I'm sort of attributing the standoffishness of the game to that. There's a Silencer, the team with the Silencer are very happy to just farm, and the team without the Silencer are constantly nervous to start a fight because there's a global silence.
Yeah, quite interesting on the Silencer though, going for Urn, Cloak, Tranquil Boots. So often it's very heavily prioritized in the European scene to go for a Midas because, you know, you get to level 11 quicker, you progress through items a lot faster. He's not a hero that has flash farming or jungling capabilities. So, you know, Aghanim's, Refresher, things like that, I don't think they're really on his mind. That one global silence is enough to win or turn around a team fight. Most likely he'll just go for mobility. 4 staff, maybe a Ghost Scepter, but I don't know. When the Dagon Broodmother's running at you, maybe that Ghost Scepter is such a good idea. But 20 minutes in, CDEC are breaching high ground, and it looks like they're going to take a tier 3 here. The counter push is happening down at bot. Tier 2 does go down, and TPs are starting to filter back from TongFu. They just immortal up on the Shadow Fiend. They get a 2-man call, but SF's not caught. Global's thrown out, and Storm Spirit now, man. Sun, stunned, dead. Nope. Good grave from King J down from the high ground.
Yeah, so again, global silence is used, and now TongFu want to go for it. Really looking to try and get something done. I mean, in this kind of game, they're probably even going to be writing down the timing whenever silence uses global. I mean, they really ought to, so they know exactly what kind of window they're dealing with, where they can be aggressive and go for kills.
Just take a look at the net worth graph for a second. That is the most nuts graph I have ever seen. Like, I've seen some up and down games. I've seen some, you know, static games where one team is out-farming the other one's taking towers. But every step of the way, as CDEC go and push into towers, they had Broodmother and Storm farming, you know. TongFu are doing a good job at counteracting what CDEC are doing. It's just the fact that they're not directly counteracting it. They're trying to find a balance in a different lane. XZ gonna get taken out here. Blade Mail's popped and maybe even killing the Scarth Mage, dropping super low. The swap back from Garda saves the Clockwork as U9 is looking for more. He's got no mana left. He's probably just gonna go down here as the hookshot comes back in. Revenge from XZ. TongFu losing Storm again for a kill on the Vengeful Spirit. Not worthwhile trades at all.
Yeah, just a bit too sort of a bit too
Gung-ho?
quick on their yeah, gung-ho, that's a good term. And I think again it's to do with they know that the global's down and they feel so oppressed when the global is up. They're like, there's someone, go quickly kill that guy. And I mean they could have called the axe to come in, they could have he got there a bit late, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's why he's going mobility. He knows he needs to keep up with his Storm. Storm is trying to set the pace for his team, going for these kills. It's just a case of keeping up with this guy. Alright, CDEC did a little more slow and steady. Bristleback runs in. He's going for a BKB as well. I thought that maybe Sanjin Yasha up on him, but if he just tanks up, he can sustain through anything. Like, what can actually kill him if he has a BKB? They struggle even throwing out all of their magical damage before BKB.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. It's definitely gonna be difficult.
Is Broodmother now going to go for E-Blade? Like, Dagon 3 hasn't been upgraded further. And usually with Dagon Brood, you see the Dagon E-Blade, and then you try and get those insta-kills.
I don't know. I don't want to predict what he's gonna do, but yeah, he's pretty close to gold for, I don't know, Eagle Song, so we'll know soon enough. And there's a smoke from CDEC into their own jungle, looking to flush enemies out, and
Ooh,
Storm
hook
senses
shot.
them and sips away.
Where's the hook shot? XZ doesn't want to, hook onto spiders or anything like that. So he's definitely very wary about where the spiderlings are or what could be blocking his path. So if he had gone for the hook shot, when he was in this area here, he probably would have hooked straight through the spiderlings in that small camp. So what are we looking at now? Bristleback finishes a BKB, heads up to top lane, just continues farming. Shiki Skadi for him next, in fact. So Mech BKB Skadi, Q on the Silencer. Has 900 gold, nothing on the courier? No. So the
Yeah, I'm
two
trying
supports,
to look for some. Sorry, carry on.
the two supports, don't really have too much in terms of impact items. It's more just sustain and incremental building up whatever stats they've got.
I went quiet there for a bit, just trying to look up some builds for Broodmother, what he might go, and it does seem like, in all likelihood, once he's got the dagger on this amount of gold, it's gonna be the Ethereal Blade. But he's not buying anything, so still a bit unsure.
They're going to find the Silencer here. A good move by TongFu, just waiting on the high ground, and now maybe they can turn this into a push. They've got heroes spread across the map pretty thin, but this bot lane, if they can focus down the Bristleback, yep, with that damage, my god. Level 3 Dagon Mystic Flare, get the Bristle to face you. That's how you kill him. Don't give him the chance to pop the BKB.
Heroes like Axe or even Legion Commander, I think, just really, really effective against Bristleback, because forcing him to face everyone. And the Broodmother Dagon really doing work there. Is this going to be a game? A lot of the times where we see the net worth graph being spiky like this, where it's going back, forward, I feel like a lot of those times it's sort of back, forth, and all of a sudden one team wins. Do you think that might happen this game? Or do you think we're going to get notice? The team will indicate, we're taking the lead now.
Well, both teams have more of a pressure-based lineup. They force the threat of their initiate. Well, TongFu have the threat of their initiation. So CDEC have to be very wary of where they're standing, what they're doing, and how they're going to counter-initiate. They need to know about Global Silence, Clockwork, Hookshot. So defending towers seems like their key. But when you turn it back around and think that, CDEC, they can potentially just walk up lanes with their counter-initiation ability and run into towers themselves. And then TongFu, how do they react to that? They try and turn things around. They've got to try and get some wards out. I think vision here is going to be the key factor. If one team can...
Look at his axe. He's retreating. He was walking around invisible between Shadow Fiend and Clockwork. He might still go for the Clockwork.
He's backing up.
Nope.
E-Blade on the Brood. But yeah, I think that vision is going to be a defining factor here for one of the teams to actually turn this game and win it. Because if you have vision around the tier 2 towers, if you have vision near the base, and you can find that initial pickoff to make the fight 4 versus 5 before the fight proper starts itself. Maybe even Roshan. Roshan's respawned.
When it comes to vision, Vengeful Spirit has a gem, and there's no gem yet on the Dire side, so they're gonna have an advantage in terms of knowing when they're dealing with wards, when they're not dealing with wards. And do they just get a free Roshan again?
Looks like it. Broodmother's hiding in the webs. They're very scared about, well, they're scared of where CDEC are and where they're going to initiate from. Shiki's just going to pick this up. Drops his Ring of Ankle. A double BKB picked up by TongFu though. If only they had that, 20 seconds earlier, they probably could have just run into the pit contested. And maybe even won a fight.
Yeah, because then they can deal with the global silence. I feel like it's got to be a big part in why the Radiant side have gotten 2 Roshans. I mean, it's so rare that we see that. The team that's on the Radiant just walks into the rush pits and doesn't even think twice about taking it. Like, they know that it's not going to be contested. And it's because they have that kind of cover. But with the BKBs coming up on TongFu, the dynamic might change quite a lot.
King J on this Dazzler has been farming away on the top lane. 4 staff and 2.2 thousand gold.
Is that a Blink Dagger? We often see a Blink Dagger, but since he has the Force, maybe he doesn't need it. Maybe he goes into the Aghanims.
Aghanims? Yule Scepter maybe? I don't know. What do they actually need? Like, Aghanims would be nice for the minus armor, but their main physical damage source is Axe. The rest of it's magical.
Yules I like because Dazzle actually ideally wants a way to take global of him, because he's a really important hero that also gets locked down by the global, because then he can't save people.
Does he buy a BKB himself?
I think Yules is a bit maybe more reasonable for Dazzle. I suppose he could also buy a Diffusal Blade if he really wanted to.
I think Yules, because there's the global silence like you mentioned, but also Clockwork. If he hook shots in and you Yules yourself, you can potentially just get out of the cogs. 4 staff does allow for that, but if you've already used it defensively on someone else or aggressively to try and get in range for a grave on one of your teammates. And I say aggressively, but I just mean, going forward towards the enemy team rather than going back towards your base. It's like Storm is trying to make a play here. He gets caught in the cogs, but BKB's pop. That allows the Silence to just pop that global silence. They're throwing everything they've got into the Storm Spirit. I don't know if they can finish him before he zips away, though. Axe has decided to blink in a Berserker Skull, 3 of them. Now out comes the E-Blade Dagon. Garda getting dropped. Nice grave there from King J onto Zex Bingo. But he's most likely just going to fall for his efforts. Axe keeping him alive for that little bit longer, but Urn taking him over slowly but surely will finish him off as Storm zipping back and forth, getting taken out by the Shadow Fiend. Buyback from the Broodmother.
Not so sure about this initiation where you BKB before the Silencer globals.
No.
I feel like that's a pretty risky decision to make if you're a Storm Spirit.
It's probably going to be Rax here.
Yeah, he spent the global silence running away.
Storm zips all the way from the fountain. Shiki still has Aegis Immortal though. Not dying. Okay, now he dies during the BKB. He doesn't get the Requiem off. Aggressive on this Bristleback, trying to bail out. As Shiki returns to the land of the living. Turn it back onto the Storm. This is a buyback into dieback here. Hookshot, right clicks, raise, dead. Actually commits suicide with a Bloodstone.
Yeah, it's not going to be worth that much when his Raxes go down.
So mid-rack's going to fall. Nice little gold boost there. Turning things around, because TongFu had a pretty decent lead. They blink forward, E-Blade, and Mystic Flare ripping through the health of Shiki. Good swap back from Garda though, allowing his teammate just to escape that little bit quicker. Axe forcing over, Shadow Fiend goes down, Broodmother still getting chased by the Bristleback, but grave from King J. Is it going to be enough? Brood is still taking damage, can't get over the high ground. And
I don't think we can understate the role of the Roshan in this game. The fact that CDEC got, is Axe dead as well now?
Where is Axe?
What's
What's Axe doing over there? Storm has returned. Ball lightning's all the way from Fountain again.
Yeah, there was a
Rex don't
Bristleback.
actually fall.
Yeah, Bristleback and Clock were on Axe, but Axe forced up to the high ground, Bristleback had to go back, and Clock was actually isolated in there.
Storm is going back in on Garda, pops the BKB, so he's not going to get hit by that last word. But does he have enough damage to finish off the Venge? Like, that's not a question you hear too often. Can Storm kill Venge? And it looks like he can't. He's going to die a 3rd time in a space of, what, 40 seconds?
You know, despite the fact that the Storm rushed Bloodstone, I just keep seeing him without mana. Every single fight, you know, after about halfway through the fight, the Storm Spirit has no mana, and he's just ripe for the picking.
He's using Ball Lightning from pretty far away.
Yeah, I just want to go back to this Roshan thing. It's so rare that you see the team that's on Radiant very early in the game get 2 Roshans. And I think that says a lot about their lineup. Because they've got the Radiant advantage of having like a better jungle, easier farming for the off lane, for the mid lane. And they also got the Roshan. I think it just gives them like an unreasonable advantage when it comes to pushing. And it's probably the difference maker in this game, the way I see it.
Yeah, you can also factor in the Broodmother isn't really, you know, a team fighting hero. She can definitely try and solo kill someone like the Venge or the Silencer, but it's getting more and more difficult. That cloak that Silencer picked up has been vital in survival in some of these team fights.
Yeah, the Broodmother hasn't had the game she wanted. I mean, she farmed extremely quickly, getting that Dagon and F-Blade, and she's got 2 kills and 4 assists. I mean, you expect that to be creating more kills, or in cases where it's not creating kills, she should be getting objectives, because she's being left alone.
Well, this poor Shadow Fiend can't get close to the axe, but now he will. He'll finish off with right clicks. But the SF was getting caught here and was basically just running back and forth. The pathing wasn't allowing him to actually go through the trees because of the creep wave. But Hookshot, locking the axe in, also cancelling the Blink Dagger, while Shiki comes in with the right clicks, now building up into an AC with that Hyperstone. That's one farmed out Shadow Fiend as the Broodmother continues the Dagon.
Yeah, I think that TongFu have very limited time left in this game. This push is going to go high ground, the Silencer's got global up, and everyone's got more items than they had before.
Hookshot now to King J. Can they silence him before he graves? Well, he's going to force himself out of the cogs. Double force, in fact, with the Scars helping him out. Broodmother attempting to battle up against aggressive. But the Bristleback proving to be that little bit too tanky. So E-Blade and Dagon both on cooldown now. They don't have that available to try and pop someone like the Silencer or Venge.
Yeah. Interesting, I don't know if you saw there the
Storm?
Storm going in.
The Storm jumping in onto the SF, but there's the global after the BKB once again. And TongFu losing one of their key heroes. King J, I think, a little bit of desperation there, trying to get in with the axe. But it's not working out for them. As Zex Bingo throws out another Dagon. No mana for E-Blade. Yeah, you're right. And aggressive just going in. Going in, getting kills, slamming people into the ground. Flinging
it's
his
like his
snotter.
name's being aggressive, right?
Yeah. Well, GG is
something
cool.
that something I found interesting there, the interaction, the E-Blade and the mech. When the E-Blade was used originally on the Bristleback, then Shadow Fiend immediately mech'd him and really heals quite a lot then.
Well, that's game number 1 between TongFu and CDEC, going the way of CDEC. We'll find out in game number 2, coming up in a couple of minutes, who will be making their way through to the D2CL Chinese group stages. I've been Durka, joining me Scant. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.